Hey, give me a flake man here. This is the alternate site for Give Me a Break Man. I keep getting the same the same question again and again. How did I come to Japan? How did you what are you doing here? Blah blah blah. Can I get a job in Japan? Excuse me. So I thought I'd answer some of those questions. Eating cereal as usual, getting cereal stuck in between my teeth. Man, a lot of old people in Japan, they make that annoying noise. Old guys, not even old guys, like even young guys, hear it all the time. It's really annoying. Smacking their lips. Okay, I don't know. I can't help you. Look, I came over with a couple $1,000s in my pocket, almost 17 years ago. I met a guy in Brazil. Not Brazil. Where was that? Bolivia, in a silver mine in a deep cave in Bolivia, and Potosi was the town. You can look it up, and it's like they had this tourist attraction where you go down into the old silver mines, which are now pretty much abandoned except for tourism, and you take a tour of the silver mines and see what it's like to work down there. Well, we didn't work, of course, but anyway, met a Japanese guy. He was traveling around the world by himself, and I was traveling all over Central and South America by myself. We were both backpackers, so it's one of those weird things where you exchange numbers or addresses or emails or whatever it was in those days. I guess it was before email. Anyway, one day, and he was going around the world, and a few months later he called me up, and he was in New York City, and I was a student. I was going to NYU. And he called me up, and he came and stayed. He slept on our sofa. We had a kind of it wasn't a dorm, but it was a bunch of students and rented a house apartment together. Dormish atmosphere. Anyway, his name was Naoki, and Naoki came and taught me my first Japanese word, which was which one? Chikusa, which means shit. Anyway. I was an English major, so I went to Japan with $2,000 and an English major, and I came. It was really weird. Like he met me at the airport, although I didn't tell him when I was coming exactly. Like he figured it out. I told him I was coming in August sometime, and I'll look him up when I get there. And I guess he called the airlines and he got the flight number. I don't know how. I still, even to this day, I never really asked him. How he did it, but he told me he just called, and for some reason they gave it to him, and they must have said, oh, this poor foreigner is coming over with no help, and this Japanese guy's going to help him. So the Japanese company gave him the information, and anyway, he met me in Tokyo. He dragged my butt all the way back to a city near here, near Nagoya, and I ended up homestaying with him for a couple months, and while I was homestaying, which basically means you live with his family. And they were really grateful that I'd kind of taken care of him in New York City. He'd stayed for 2 weeks while he traveled around. And so they returned the favor, so to speak. Anyway, they were my homestay family. I would visit them almost every weekend. And, okay, how did I get a job and all that? I just went around school to school knocking on doors. And I went to the International Center. I guess the first thing you want to go is to the Kokusai Center and ask for a list of schools that are hiring, or a list of schools, and then you go and cold call them one by one. And basically, anybody who speaks English and has a BA in something can get a job here. Now, for the JET program, I don't know anything, but from what I understand, they don't really like people who can speak Japanese well, and they prefer non-Asian, so it's kind of racist and all that. From what I hear, and I don't know because I've never done that. It is a pretty good deal, money-wise. I hear they pay well, and you don't have to work that hard, but it's brainless. I mean, from what I remember of the JET students, JET teachers, they come over here. What does that mean? Japanese English teacher? No, Japanese education. I don't know what even JET. I'll put it in the sides. I don't do this. So, but there's a guy on this site on YouTube called Claytonian, and I think he's got something on his profile about this. So, this isn't really my field, so to speak. I will tell you this. If you want to get a job in Japan, you can come over with some of those companies that hire overseas, like Eon, or, I don't know, ECC or something. But you can also just come over here. But I would not come over here unless you've got a place to stay, or you set up a place to live for a couple months, or at least a month, while you get the job sorted out and all that. It's really expensive staying in hotels and stuff, and they don't really have really cheap housing. You know, like a really cheap hotel. I think the cheapest hotel you probably find, if you're lucky, is maybe $30 a day. And can you do that? You know, I guess you could pay that for, you know, a month, $1,000 right there. You know, so it's expensive to get started. But and also renting an apartment here, it's gotten better. But when I first came over, you had to pay like sometimes up to 6 months what they call key money, which is basically a kind of bribe to get into the apartment. It's kind of a established tradition, not a tradition, it's just the practice here. It's just the way things are. When you wanted to move into an apartment, you have to pay a bunch of money up front to get in, and you almost never get any of it back. Now they've gotten a little bit better about that. Actually, I got really lucky. The apartment I got into was $0 to get in, first month, last month, just like in the States. So, which is getting more common here, but you can find it. And there are things called gaijin houses. A gaijin, of course, is a foreigner, and you can look around for gaijin houses. So before you come over here, get all that sorted. If you have a BA in anything, you can get a job. If you don't, I don't know what you would do to get over here, unless you're a performer of some kind. And then you still need someone to come over here, someone to sponsor your visa when you get over here. When you do get over here, you'll need someone to sponsor your visa so you can stay and work. The way that usually works is they will fill out the paperwork for you, and you'll have to go somewhere. You'll have to go out of the country and come back in again on the proper visa, which sounds kind of weird. Why not do it here, right? It's a pain in the butt, but that's the way it is. So almost everybody goes to South Korea, which is usually a nice 3-day trip. It's really close, really cheap to get there, and it's kind of a fun little, you know, trip. So you'll have to count that into your budget too if you're gonna be coming over here to teach. So this is too long and not very helpful. But again, I can't help you. Sorry. I mean, it's not really my thing. So, and like I said, this channel is for long comments. So this was a long comment telling you that I can't really help you. If anybody leaves any questions in the comments, I will answer. But like I said, you're better off just doing your own legwork. And I'm not hiring anybody. Sorry. And yeah. And you don't have to speak Japanese at all to come to teach English. I've known people here who've lived longer than I have, and they can't speak Japanese almost at all. If you watch all my videos, you'll speak more Japanese than he can. That's one guy example. So, you know, it's very possible. A lot of people speak English here. You can get around. People are really shy about directions and stuff. You basically have to stop people if you're a non-English speaker. But people kind of have some rudimentary knowledge of English, but they're really bad at it. I think Japan always rates one of the worst in the world on their English tests and stuff. I can't think of anything else to tell you. Okay, I suppose I should make this a more organized video sometime in the future, but I can't be bothered today. I just want to put this out quick. Bye!